So for those of you who have been with us, we've been going through grammar points from Keith Folse's textbook, Teaching Grammar to Students of English, something of the like. We're going through present perfect tense today. So whether you are a learner of English or someone who's learning to teach English and work with English language learners, I hope you find this presentation amusing and hopefully educational. So an amusing thing will be to learn how to pronounce participle with me, because I always think I mispronounce it. So just hang in there with me, and we're just going to be talking about what is the present perfect tense and why is it important to know verb participles. So in class, I would have my students read each of these examples or more examples in supplementary textbooks or main textbooks, and this can just be a supplement. So I've traveled to Asia many times. This shows the repetition of an action before and now. So it's relating the past to the present, indefinite past. So like, so ask the students to identify the verbs, main verbs. So main verb is traveled. Helping verb is have, which may not be obvious to students. So ask them, hey, what is this contraction if you uncontract it, if you expand it? So they should come up with I have. So have traveled is your verb phrase. So being able to identify that as a student or learner, teacher. So everyone should know what verbs are what. So we have been in class since 6. An action beginning in the past that continues to the present. Again, you see that relation of a past action relating to the present. This time it's a more specific time. So, which is 6 o'clock. I have ordered your meal. I hope you don't mind. So maybe you're at a restaurant, your friend's running late, they text the order ahead to you. Or you already know what they want, so you put the order in. So this is a recent relevant action, you just ordered it, so hopefully now when they're arriving and you're telling them this, the food is still hot. So it's recent relevant action, another situation in which to use present perfect tense. He's been late before. So one thing to point out in the third person, with third person subject pronouns, is the apostrophe S is he is, it's not he is, it's he has, she has, it has. So, because the other form of the apostrophe S, of course, that we see is the he is, she is. So it's a bit ambiguous with those two verbs. So just making sure your students know how to expand that correctly for this tense. So past action at an unspecified time, like, oh, he's been late before, maybe just once before, so that he's late now is a bit of an anomaly, or maybe he's just always late, oh, he's been late before, it's not a big deal. Versus maybe he was late, he's been late before, maybe as a child, but he's grown out of it since then. So, and then here's the negated form, he's never been late before. Take note of where you'll see adverbs of frequency popping up. Usually it's as close to the main verb as possible. So especially in this case with the contraction, because the helping verb is tagged onto that subject. So this is an example of negation form. And then, have you ever driven a truck? So your student should be familiar with how to form questions by moving words, subjects, and verbs around, so syntactically. So then what you want your students, again, to just notice and be able to articulate is that pattern of helping verb, main verb. And so that's what this pattern or formula looks like. You use have or has, and then the past participle of a verb. So you have helping verb, main verb, have studied, present perfect. So you can have your student read this. I have lived here for many years. Have them identify which verb is which, the helping verb or the main verb. And then just again, identifying the main verb. So try to hit that nail on the head, because it helps with all the other verb tenses as well. So, or a lot of the other verb tenses. So a review of to have, if your students need, running through the different conjugations or forms. And then again, just to highlight, the apostrophe S means has instead of is in this case. So so this is where I need to focus on pronouncing participle. So what is it? And so it's just another word for a verb form. It's like a fancier word. So there are two types of participles, past and present, and these forms should look familiar to both you and your students. Your students should be able to kind of sight read these, and or like there should be no surprises necessarily. So, unless of course you're working with an irregular form, that irregular verb that students have not encountered before. So our example is to walk. To walk is our infinitive or base form, and then you get walking, which is the present participle, and then walked, which is past. So present, past, walking, walked, and they should look familiar. So like am walking, I have been walking, I have walked. So second example, participles that look like verbs that we know, and they can let us use verbs as different parts of speech. So to hide. Oh wait, I should move my face. You can see the treasure map. So our infinitive is to hide. The present is hiding, present participle. Past participle is hidden. So we can see, I've hidden the treasure somewhere, you'll never find it. You can see that past participle made its way in here with the have verb, so that's how we know it's present perfect. And then we can also say the hidden treasure. Like, what kind of treasure? It's not the treasure that's right there that everyone can see. It's not like the obvious treasure. It's the hidden treasure. So there we see the past participle form used as an adjective. And then we also see present participles. You can use them as adjectives. Like, oh, the hiding rabbit was so cute, but he's hiding now. He's not an obvious rabbit now. He's hiding. So, and then you also have the gerund forms, which is the ing form of a verb used as a subject of a sentence or like a noun object as well. So what kind of treasure? Hidden treasure. So just as a review, participle, verb form that allows us to kind of link the helping verb to different verb tenses. So think of the slight change in the verb. So like walk to walking, or walked. Just kind of making the verb into the right shape to fit with the right helping verb to express what you need, so kind of like puzzle pieces. And then also just forms of verbs that can be used as different parts of speech. I believe that is the end of my slideshow. So, and then there's so many. I like going through the examples with my students either again or coming up with new examples either in the text that you're using or in real life, maybe having students make any sentence, change it into this tense. So, yeah, so that's present perfect.